So to proceed further on the career enhancement, the next thing what we need to focus is what are all the key skills required, right? So these are all some of the key skills which are required in order to enhance our career. So we'll start with communication skills and soft skills. We have already taken a webinar on communication skills and soft skills. So in case you have missed it out, the description will be given below. And interpersonal skills. So besides the communication and soft skills, what we need to know is the interpersonal skills, where there will be different people with different background, and the way of thinking will be different. Though the company is working for the common goal or the objective, the people who drive it or who work on it towards that goal, they'll be having different ways of thinking or executing it. So when we need to work, whether as a team member or as a leader, we need to understand the dynamics within the team and how the other persons are thinking. And before we communicate, we tell them we need to study and understand the behavior, right? That is very important. So these things will give added advantage to you when you work with a group of people, right? And next is leadership skills. So whether you're in the team level or you're a leader, developing the leadership skill is very much important. So there have been a lot of wrong guidance or the misconceptions about the leadership skills. It's just that you need to just get the work done from others, right? By just giving them the instructions or setting the goals, the leadership work gets done. That's not the case. So leadership skill requires complete analysis of the scenario and make sure that the goal is achieved. Just comes in, those are all getting addressed on time, and everyone could really look to you as a leader, right? So nowadays the servant leadership is what more in demand, where people are looking for leaders who understand the problem of the people and work with them and guide them towards the goal, right? So it's important to develop those skills and the required technical and the domain skills. So whichever area you're working on, so those technical and those specific domain skill is very much important. You need to have a very good hold on it, so that you can show that as an experience, and you can get promotion within the same organization, or you can move to another organization with a better package or better offer. And next is the time the time management skills. So time management, it's very important. We need to be organized. We need to plan the time so that it gets utilized, because everyone gets the same 24 hours, but how do we utilize it? That's all matters. And if any work is given to you, it should be completed on time, and the communication should be there constantly. So that's why the time management skill is very important. Another one is structured thought flow. When it comes to any meeting or discussion, not everyone will be having complete time. So we need to be short and crisp as much as possible and provide our thoughts in a structured manner. So that's why we need to have the thought process in a structured flow, so that we can go one by one and we can deliver it. Say for example, if I have to give this presentation to you all, my thought process should be structured so that I can communicate to you in a structured way and you can understand things, right? So that's it on this key skill required slide. But here one important note. So besides all the personal skills, all other interpersonal skills and all other communication skills, the major factor is willingness to work and work ethics. Hard and smart work plays a major role. Okay. Now, when you're a student, right, what are all the self-assessment that you need to do, right? So those are the things which we're going to see now. So first is the practical knowledge on the domain. So whether you're in school or college, it's very important that you develop a good practical knowledge, so that when you go to the actual work, right, you'll start thinking on the more practical grounds that you can implement things very easily, right? So let it be a sales job, or it's commerce, accounts, or it's an engineering job, or it's IT, anything, right? If you have more practical knowledge, you will think in a better way and you'll execute things instead of referring always the book, right? So from the theory knowledge, how do you convert it into practical knowledge? How do you make an application work? How do you build things up, right? How you actually make a sale? Like how do you actually do the accountancy for the live accounts? Because in the real world, when you work, if you make a mistake, it'll be very costly. So that's why it's important to have practical knowledge so that you can work more efficient. And second is the decide the career path early stage and not to deviate. Okay, so if you want to become an accountant, you work on it. If you want to become a salesperson, work on it. And if you want to become an engineer, if you want to become a IT software engineer, go for it. But it's important that not to deviate the path in the middle. Okay. Next is understanding the strength and weakness. So it's important that we need to understand what is our strength and what is our weakness. So we need to know our strength so that we can play it as a key trump card. We can attack on that, right? We can embrace it and we can use it more when it is required. We can showcase that as our strength anywhere we go. And it's fine to have weakness. Like we are all humans. We have our own physical and the mental and the knowledge, diligence, weakness. It is okay to have that, but we need to understand the area of weakness and we need to contain it as much as possible. We need to train ourselves on the weakness area. We need to do things which we are not comfortable with so that our weakness gets reduced as much as possible, and not to expose the weakness much, right? That is very important, but doesn't mean that you have to lie when you did something wrong. When you did something wrong, just accept it, understand that yes, it's a mistake which you did and you will not repeat it. That's the attitude you should be having. Same way, it should not be like a regular practice that making a mistake and asking sorry. So if you know there's a weakness area, just work on it. Example, if time management is your weakness, you couldn't get up on time and you couldn't do a particular work scheduled on time, just make sure you wake up early and you start the work early and you set reminders for yourself and plan other things the rest of the day. So that's how you overcome your weakness. And next is how to embrace your strength. If you have good presentation skills and if there is any opportunity coming up on the presentation, just go up and do the presentation. And if your strength is good programming, debugging, so show that and you can do debug and you can help others and you can help in resolving others' issues as well. So that's how you showcase your strength. And next is minimize the risk of weakness. Like we talked about earlier, we need to do few groundwork, few training in order to reduce the weakness. And next is adding additional courses, training required to enhance the skills. So this is very important. So any skill which you need to acquire, you need to take additional training or courses. Any special skill that you need to develop, you need to work on it. And next is the physical and the mental fitness required for the work. Any work, right, it requires minimum physical and mental fitness. So the organization do not hire people who are all sick or weak, right? They do always a medical test, right? So we need to have the basic physical and the mental fitness so that we work efficiently and we don't get stressed out or we don't fall sick. Okay, next one is self-assessment for employees. So once you start working, when you're an employee, what are all the self-assessment you need to do, right? And you might be having a question as well, how frequent these self-assessment should be done? It should be done in a daily basis or weekly or at least monthly basis to see where do you stand before and where do you make progress. So first is of course the domain expertise with the respective duration based on your experience. What is your domain? And these self-assessment will be having much common with the students one, but still there are few other additional responsibilities you'll be having when you are at the work, because like I said before, there is low margin for errors in the work. So second is you need to understand company situation, and third is the job market situation. This is just to know how your company is doing, how your job market is doing, and to analyze the work you do, whether it's the correct amount of salary that you're getting and it's a correct designation which you're working on, and whether the work you do for your designation is it on par with the market and with the companies or the project as well. Okay, you need to have an awareness, right? And next is understanding the self strength and weakness, which we already talked about it, and embrace your strength and minimize the risk of the weakness. So this also we have gone through it in the previous slide, but just that here you need to act pretty fast and smart here, because you will be having limited window, and as companies investing on you, the company does not give multiple chances. The tolerance for error is less. And next is additional course training to enhance your skills. Of course, say for example, if Agile is brought into your IT platform, you need to immediately start learning IT, Agile methodology, and the Scrum, all the process, process related to the Scrum framework. So you need to get yourself immediately trained on that. And example, if the technical side they are bringing in cloud, AWS, you need to get yourself trained on AWS immediately and start working on it. So that's the training or the self-learning or the adaptation which is expected out of you, the company. And similarly, physical and the mental fitness required for work, because the company does not tolerate people who take a lot of sick leaves. Okay, doesn't mean that you should not fall sick, but there is something which you can do at your end as well. Okay, it's not just an excuse you get sick and you take leave, right? You need to make yourself healthy both on the physical level and the mental level, right? The fitness is very important so that you can sustain and you can work. And especially people who will be in the sports or in the gym, the trainers, right? So all these people are highly dependent on the physical and the mental fitness, right? But even for people who do the desk job, up to some extent you need to have a good physical and mental fitness, so that you don't get a sore throat, you don't get a back pain, you don't get a headache, right? So we do have few emergencies, we cannot avoid it, and we can also plan and take vacations, but the company does not like much of the sick leaves, right? Taking too much of sick leave, so that becomes a question mark on your credibility. So that's what I'm trying to convey here. And next is taking critical decisions, right? So we need to make sure that we take critical decision while assessing the company state, and whether you need to take a promotion and to move to another project within the same company, or to move to a different role, or even to switch the job, right, in order to get a better package or better position. So these are all, everything has a benefit to it, and also it has a consequence or a cost. So we need to do analysis on both the sides and take the critical decision. So the people who are becoming successful, right, they do a good risk assessment and they take calculated risk. That's how they become successful. So all these things are very important, right? So with that we can go to the next slide. Okay, next slide is for questions. Anyone have any questions? Okay. All right, I believe there are no questions. So once again, thank you all for the wonderful opportunity, and especially I would like to thank our IJSS and D High Tech team for this wonderful chance, and also to Dr. Amuda Ramalingam and Dr. Ramalingam for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Until we meet you in the next session, thank you all and have a wonderful weekend. Bye, take care.